Hey, what's up? What's going on, everybody? Joe 69080B. Hopefully you guys are having a good day today. Happy Friday. Tonight we're going to talk about 2021 and adventure motorcycles. And maybe you're in the market or maybe you're thinking about an adventure motorcycle. And we're not going to go into too much in-depth about them, but we're going to talk about probably the 5 best adventure motorcycles that are out there that you can get right now, that not only can you just crunch down those miles, but they're really actually kind of for off-road too. So you know what? We're going to talk about them. So stick around. Coming up next. Hey, what's going on? Happy Friday. Joe 69080B. Thanks for stopping in and spending a little time with me on your Friday. I do appreciate it. It really, it's awesome, and it means a lot to me, to be quite honest with you. And it makes for my week, believe it or not. Anyway, before we ever get started, you always know what I say. If you're not part of our channel, you really need to hurry up and hit that little red guy over there that basically says subscribe now. And you also need to give us a thumbs up if you like our stuff. We have tons of videos. Don't forget to check our playlists out. We have a bunch of videos. We have hundreds upon hundreds of videos that will hopefully help you out. And we also have great followers that put lots of great comments down there too that will help you out as well. Also, don't forget our affiliate links up there, also down below in the description. Every little bit helps for the 69080B channel. Tonight, we are going to talk about adventure bikes, not the dual sport type bikes like the 690s and the 250L with a Honda over there, you know, the bigger bikes. And, you know, for 2021, there were some really good motorcycles that are out there and some pretty good stuff basically popped up. We're not going to get too in-depth on those, but maybe you're thinking about getting a new adventure bike, or maybe you want to get an adventure bike, or you're coming over from the street and you're thinking, hey, you know what? I would like to do some of the off-road. Not super technical, but I would like to be able to do it, and I would like to try to maybe pick the right bike to do that work. Now, tonight we're going to talk about 5 bikes, and the 5 bikes that I personally think, this is my personal opinion, it's, you know, I'm not going to sit there and go into all the specs and everything on these motorcycles. I'm just telling you the ones that I think are really great. Some I've ridden, some I have not, and I don't need to really ride a motorcycle to give you the information to tell you if it's actually going to be what it's going to be for the job that it's going to perform. So I'm going to start from number 5 and go all the way down to number 1. And the number 1 bike, please stick around. It's not going to be too long. I'm going to try to keep this video as short as possible for you guys because I know people have a hard time sticking around. It's just a weird thing on YouTube. People don't like to watch long videos, it seems like. So, or they'll say, oh, well, it just wasn't interesting enough. But anyway, on to number 5. The number 5 motorcycle to me that I think for 2021 that is really good for really on the road, and it will do the off-road business, is going to be the BMW GS R1250. Now the 1250 GS. Now make no mistake, it's a staple for adventure bikes. It's been around for a really long time, and it really made its mark. If you don't know a lot about it, Charlie Borman, Ewan McGregor, basically Obi-Wan Kenobi in the Star Wars movies that are out there, they did a trip called the Long Way Round. And the Long Way Round basically was done on the BMW GS series. Now KTM, they wanted to get with KTM, and I feel KTM made a really huge mistake by not going and using them. But at the end of the day, history is history, and that movie and that type of scenario launched BMW into the adventure world. And now it's pretty much a staple, and that put them on the map for it. Classic ADV look for that bike. You know, it's comfy beyond all comprehension. You know, these are some of the positive things about that bike. Plenty of fuel, depends on if you're just getting the standard GS or the adventure series. You're going to have about 5 gallons plus. Lots of features, ride modes, plenty of aftermarket parts. Probably the best road traveler of all the bikes and of all time in the adventure series because they're so good. But there are some cons to that bike. I'm not gonna lie, it's heavy. That bike is way, way, way heavy. It was not totally designed to do what a lot of guys put that bike through in the off-road work. There's not a whole lot of clearance, so you're going to be banging and bumping if you're taking that off-road, and anything that's going to be some form of technical And a lot of guys like to do that. You know, I think it's got too many electronics on there, lots of ride modes. Electronics equate to one thing. If there's a problem, it usually will shut your bike down, or it's going to cost a whole lot of money to get it fixed. And not only that, the next big thing, if you drop it, you better have a buddy with you. Those bikes are notoriously heavy. And if you're loaded up with gear and everything like that, it's going to be heavy, and you better have somebody to help you get it up, or you're going to be stripping that bike down to lift it back up. Not only that, it's not cheap. It's going to be quite expensive. So the BMW R1250GS is number 5 on my list. Number 4 on our list is going to be the Harley Davidson Pan America. Now, I really, honestly, I'll be truthful with you. I don't like to beat around the bush, and I'm not a liar, and I don't like to sit there and say things that are, at least I try to be as truthful as I possibly can. I did not like that motorcycle when it first came out, and we've got several videos on the Pan America. But it's making waves. That bike is making waves in the adventure world. And I really didn't think it was going to do as well as it's doing right now. I just didn't want to like it, but I do now just a little bit. Now, with all the new videos and the reviews that are coming in and people that are actually taking that bike out, I tell you what, it's actually doing a pretty darn good job. So kudos to the Harley Davidson guys that actually did that. What do I like about it? Well, it's different. It's totally different than all the adventure bikes that are out there. And that is a positive to me. Some people say it's ugly, has all these things, but at the end of the day, I really think that that is awesome because they're trying to make their own stamp in the adventure world. Plenty of fuel capacity. All the bikes we're going to talk about tonight have more than enough fuel capacity to get out and adventure travel and adventure ride. At over 5 gallons, it's going to be just fine. Plenty of power, more than you're ever going to need. And not only that, it's supposedly very, very comfortable from what I've heard and what I've seen. Like the BMW GS series, it is made for the road. That bike is going to be able to get down and crunch those miles and get you from point A to point B. Ride modes, electronic features, galore, all those certain things, they're going to have tons of it. Cons? It's big, and it's really big, and it's really heavy. 100%, make no mistake about that. It's not really an off-road bike as much as you're seeing all these videos over YouTube and all that type of stuff. These are professional riders. This is not you. I've seen guys go out and actually test ride this bike. It's big. They're not doing what you're seeing on the videos from the professional rider. Now, I would say that bike is basically strictly just like the GS series, fire roads, light off-road, nothing technical. Most guys are going to want to do that, but I'll tell you what, it's such a new bike. It's really kind of unproven. I don't know if you've seen the video where they actually had a demo day and a guy was riding it and it blew up the engine. Take that with a grain of salt, but again, it's new and it's totally unproven. Not only that, it's not cheap. Number 3, Honda. You just can't say enough, and you can't even talk about adventure if you don't throw a Honda in there. And the Honda Africa Twin, or the AT, is basically, they're making their marks. And I put it at number 3. It's not going to get the number 1 spot, but it is a really, really good bike. It is Honda, and that name in itself is what it is. Now, it's known for performance, it's known for reliability, and in 2021, it's really no different. It's a great bike all the way around. It's going to perform, it has lots of power, it's going to be able to do the road, and it's also going to be able to do the dirt. Now, what are the pluses for it? Well, it's a good looking bike. I'm not going to lie to you. It really, really looks good. It's got plenty of power for what that bike is. It's got good clearance on that bike, so it's actually going to be able to do the off-road much better than the Pan America and the GS. Lots of electronics, going to have ride modes and all that stuff to make things really a little bit better for you, especially on the road. Asphalt, pavement, stuff like that. That's what it's really going to do. It's going to have good road manners, so you're going to be able to get out, crunch the miles down, good tire size. 1821, that's perfect. The bigger bikes are going to be your 19, 17s. That's just not a real good off-road setup, but it works. But at 18 and 21, the Honda Africa Twin, it's going to be really, really fantastic if you're looking for that type of bike. Cons of that bike. Again, it's big, it's heavy, and it's definitely not as agile as the number 2 and the number 1 bike that's out there. So the Honda Africa Twin, it's good. It's going to do the business. It's going to be able to crunch the miles. It's definitely going to be better than the GS and the Pan America. But overall, it's not going to be quite as good as the next bike we're going to talk about. And that's the number 2 bike. And the number 2 bike is the KTM 890 Adventure. If you don't know much about it, I went to the KTM days, or the KTM ride here in Dallas-Fort Worth. What a fantastic motorcycle. Absolutely nice. Talking to the guys at KTM, it's really set up. It is great. I can't say enough about KTM. KTM is basically their motto, ready to race. You know that if you know anything about KTM. Plenty of power, and they're really secondary to who? Nobody. So here's the deal. If they're not number 1, they're not too far behind. They normally don't come in second too often. Check the Dakar Rally and find out how the placements go for the last 20 years. Now, what are the pluses to that bike? Well, we all know it's KTM, plenty of power. Because KTM, that's what they're all about. They're all about the off-road. They are about taking care of business. Perfect tire size, 1821 setup. It's great, perfect for the off-road. Plenty of fuel, 5 gallons plus, gonna work great. It's got good road manners. Like I said, lots of horsepower so you can crunch down those miles on the pavement, and the list goes on and on and on. Cons, every bike has a con. The only thing I can find on the KTM, and you tell me, you put it down below if you can actually find a con to that 890 Adventure for what it is, for the size and what it can do compared to the other bikes that are out there. It's not cheap. It's expensive for what it is, but it is a KTM and you get what you pay for. Number 1, I had to really think about this, and it really came down to the KTM and to this bike right here that is number 1. And a lot of people think I'm just a KTM fanboy. I am not. I give kudos where kudos needs to be. And Yamaha in the T7 or the Pannier 700, I think that I really honestly think after more time with that bike being out, getting the information, getting stuff that's going on, I just think that they nailed it. I really do. And it's hard to get one because they're literally either sold out or they're on order and somebody's about to pick one up. But the thing is I think they win for 2021. And if you're looking for an adventure bike that'll do everything and do everything very, very well. And I'm gonna tell you what sets it afar and above. It'll do everything that the KTM 890 will do. It's gonna handle great on the road. It's gonna handle great off-road. It's definitely gonna smoke all the bikes except for the KTM series. It's lightweight for its size. It's got plenty of fuel, over 4 gallons. It's got plenty of off-road clearance so they can actually do the business in the actual technical, just like the KTM series. It's got minimal electronics, so not too much to actually go wrong and cost you an arm and a leg. Best part of all, that really pushes this bike to number 1, in my personal opinion, and you tell me down below if I got this wrong or not, the price. $9,999 MSRP. For that bike, what it does compared against all the other bikes at least $5,000 difference in cost. I think I got it right, and I think that the Yamaha T7 is the number 1 bike for 2021 for the all-around business. And if you're thinking about getting an adventure bike, you might want to look at that bike if you want to get out and do the business. Anyway, hey, I'm Joe, 690 ADV. Thanks for stopping in, and don't forget, hit that subscribe, give us a thumbs up there, down in the description. We appreciate you. Don't forget, hit those comments. And if you need anything, 690adv@gmail.com. We appreciate you. You guys have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy your 4th of July. Please be safe. And if you're out riding, it's a crazy weekend. I'm Joe, 690 out. Find your adventure.